Well, obviously, you guys, entering game week here, but throughout this offseason, have you guys as players talked at all about State being picked to finish last in the West, and do you guys use that as motivation at all?
I mean, a little bit. It hasn't really come from the coaching staff and Coach Arnett or anybody like that. I think it's more so of just guys in the locker room. It's something we've definitely kind of talked about in the locker room, and definitely something that we kind of see how the outside world's kind of projecting us to finish last. But we don't take too much thought into it. Kind of just use it as motivation, and try and just go 1-0 every single week.
In the 21 season, you lost the Egg and the bowl game. Had a difficult offseason. This year, you win the Egg and then win the bowl game, finish in the top 20. How much different maybe was it this year, maybe carrying over a little momentum from how you ended last year?
No, I mean, it's huge. Obviously, the game on Thanksgiving every year is the biggest game every single year. So anytime you can win that game, no matter the score, no matter, how you did it, it doesn't matter. It's something that we talk about and something that we kind of preach in the locker room. It doesn't matter how you're going to win that game, just win the game. So we were able to do that, and then we were able to go get a bowl victory after some difficult situations and circumstances. So I think any time that you can do that and really come together as a team, it's only going to benefit you, especially when you have so much guys coming back. We were a team that was older as it was last year, and then to have so many guys come back after some hard circumstances like that, I think it just really brings us close together, and I think you'll be able to see that come Saturday.
Will, when you combine all the guys that are back and then you talking about how kind of comfortable you've been with Barbay and this offense so far, and also your obviously experience as well, would you say this is like kind of the most confident you've been in a Mississippi State team kind of heading into a season?
No, I mean, I think definitely, this is the most confident I've ever been in my game. Obviously, you'd never want to like degress or anything like that over the years. So I've tried to get better every single year. So I think I've done that. I think I've continued to get better, and this week I'm just trying to get a little bit better each day. So just mainly trying to prepare myself for the game, trying to get ready, and like I said, I'm probably the most confident I've ever been.
We talked to Coach Barbay a couple weeks ago, and he said that you guys have gotten that relationship where you're kind of finishing the play calls for him, finishing his sentences for him. Did it surprise you how quickly you were able to pick up this offense?
No, not at all. I know who I am. I know how I work, and I know how I prepare. So obviously, I know there's some people that are going to have doubts about that if I can carry over into a new system, whatever it may be. But I have no doubts about myself in any system whatsoever. So. I think Coach Barbay's kind of figured that out, and like you said, I know what he's going to – I probably know his first third down call Saturday, so.
Well, what do you like about this new offense? Obviously, your whole career's been in the air raid, so there's been some changes, but what do you like about it?
Probably just like the rhyme and the reason of why we do everything. There's kind of like a why of why we're doing every little thing, whether it be a motion, a shift, what he's trying to set up for maybe another shot call in the second half. So there's kind of a rhyme and a reason for why Coach does everything that he does offensively. So to be able to sit in his office and learn about those things has been really cool for me. So that's probably my favorite thing, is just kind of really strategically game planning people and just seeing what's the rhyme and the reason of why you're doing this as a play caller.
Coach was just in here with a lot of praise for Seth Davis and the push he's made to be on that 2-deep depth chart. What has kind of been your impressions of him, beating out some veteran guys at least in the preseason and getting a chance to get big snaps in week one?
Oh, he's done a tremendous job. Seth's a guy. He came in January and just a quiet, kind of hard-working guy. Not the biggest guy, but at Mississippi State we don't care about that. We care about how you play, how you do your job, each individual play. So he's done a great job. He's just so quick. I was telling somebody the other day, like, once he gets to the second level, he can just kind of make just one move and go. He doesn't spend a lot of time just making his moves. He can just kind of, put one cut in the ground, put his foot in the ground, and get north and south pretty quick. So he's a guy that's done a really good job for us in fall camp, but he needs to continue to get better, just like everybody else on the team. Our progress doesn't stop after fall camp's over. We have to continue to get better week in and week out.
Will, with it being kind of again, like new offensive coordinator and some changes, and you guys practicing against yourselves this whole last month. How much of a measuring stick do you think Saturday can be to kind of assess where you all are at, and how excited are you to be able to kind of find out kind of where things stand with the offense, if it is?
I mean, I think it'll be a good test for us. Obviously, you know, it's been a huge challenge going against our defense the past month or so. You know, those guys are really good, but obviously a more, you know, quote unquote traditional scheme coming from these guys. Obviously, we run a 3-3-5 here at Mississippi State, so you know, it'll be a more traditional scheme. We're thinking Saturday, but I don't know. Like I say, we got to continue to get better. You know, I don't think if we play our best game offensively Saturday, you know, I don't think we're doing something right. I think we need to play extremely well Saturday, but then also continue to get better week in and week out. You know, Saturday doesn't need to be the finish line for us at all.
Coach Barbet has talked a lot about, you know, just building the scheme around the players in your offense compared to just kind of having his own scheme. Have you kind of seen your receivers just kind of being used, like, in their, like, strengths, like, being used, you know, what they're good at?
No, 100%. You know, I think that's, you know, people ask me all the time, what's the biggest difference and what do you like about Coach Barbet? And that's probably my favorite thing is just the fact that he can get, you know, his playmakers the ball anyway. You know, he's a guy that, you know, really utilizes his personnel. So I think he's done a great job kind of utilizing Tulu, Xavion, Woody, you know, whoever it may be, Seth Davis. So he does a really good job with that, just finding creative ways to get guys the ball.
I know you've talked in the past about, you know, staying off social media and not, you know, reading too much stuff, but do you use it as motivation at all that, you know, people are saying that you're going to struggle in a new offense and things like that?
No, 100%. Because at the end of the day, you know, people can say what they want to say, but you know, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna prepare harder than anybody we play, and so I use that as motivation. I keep that in the back of my mind. You know, kind of just write that down on a sticky note and remember who said what and when they said it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for Saturday. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Kind of similar to what I asked Will, but, you know, with you guys being projected to finish last in the SEC West and in the media poll, you know, a month ago, do you guys use that as players, as motivation and, you know, kind of chip on your shoulder to, you know, prove people wrong this year?
Yeah, most definitely, because I look at it as, you know, just like you said, block out the noise and, you know, do what we can do and, you know, be that hard-working team that we've always been, and, you know, just to prove people wrong and show them that we can be the best that we want to be.
Got the full complement of camp behind you now. I mean, so how do you feel about this front? I know there's going to be a lot of pressure on you guys to kind of generate, you know, some pass rush, but how confident are you in the guys around you?
I'm very confident in the guys that's around me because, like, every day being around them, teaching them new things, and, you know, I'm learning new things. And, you know, we just in the film always correcting what we mess up on, and just keep going at it back to back. Perfecting everything. Like, everybody has gotten a lot better over this fall camp, and I just feel like we're all going to be real great.
Last year, obviously, dealt with that injury, and I know that was a tough blow for you, you know, mentally and physically. Just how excited are you to get out there game one this year and get a chance to play?
I'm very excited about it because, like you said, missing those games, it really was like I say like a bad feeling because, you know, being out is never a good feeling for anybody. Being able to play the whole season, that's always been the thing that everyone wants to do. And for me to be able to have that chance, it's a great feeling.
Jitten, you've been here a few years now. You had some fourth quarters where you guys had to, you know, kind of shut some people down, and all of a sudden those cowbells get going. Do you ever sense from the opponent's side that it's an issue when, you know, there's a real home field advantage here when you guys are feeling it and the crowd's behind you?
Yeah, I do honestly feel that the cowbells do help us a lot because it gets people, you know, I feel like other people panic once they hear the cowbells, and I mean for us, it gets us all riled up and ready to do things. And I mean, I just love hearing the cowbells every single game, and it just helps me play. And I mean, I know it's not something that that I can just drink or something to keep me going, but like it just gives me a lot of energy to hear that and to keep going out there and dominating. It's just a great feeling for me.
Your coaches have had a lot of praise for you in fall camp about your leadership skills. Where do you feel like you've developed the most as a leader from when you first got here to where you are now?
I feel like I've become a lot more vocal and like taking the time to try to help younger guys and even helping the older people, just making sure that they push along and continue to do what they need to do. And I just feel like I've been doing a great job of doing that.
Who are some younger guys you've seen kind of develop on that defensive line this camp?
Travion Williams, Dink, and a couple more guys that have really been doing a lot of things to show that they'll be able to do a lot of different things for us.
What's it been like going up against this offense in the spring and the fall so far, changing from the air raid to Kevin Barbay's offense? How difficult has it been? What's the differences that you've seen in the two offenses so far?
So far, I've seen that like they're going to be throwing a lot of different things out to people. So I mean, we've been making each other a lot better because of the things that they're doing, and I feel like the scheme that they have is going to be like very great for us. And I mean, of course, going against them, we're always competing, trying to make each other better. But like they're really on like their feet and going in the right direction.
How's everybody doing? Good to see y'all.
Cole, obviously a lot of different fundamentals, I guess, with this scheme offensively for you guys. Last year you're on your heels a lot, kind of pass blocking. How would you describe maybe what you guys are being asked to do this year on the offensive line?
Well, I would say up front, it's a lot more ideal for us, I would say. It's not always ideal to be on your heels pass blocking 70 times a game. So it's good to be able to switch it up and get into the run game, be able to balance it out a little bit. And we're really looking forward to it up front.
Is run blocking for a lineman kind of like riding a bike? Once you know how to do it, you can always just go back to it even after 3 years of being in the air raid?
Absolutely. It's muscle memory. And, we've obviously got away from that the past few years. But, I mean, we were running it, but not as much, But, being with Coach Friend and learning all the techniques he's teaching us and all the fundamentals and getting back into the, individual drills every day, it's really just we're coming back into our own with it. So it's been really good for us.
What have you kind of seen specifically in practice that kind of makes you confident that, Zach Arnett will be ready to go in this transition?
I think, just the way he carries himself as a man, as a coach, he's a very well-spoken individual, and he's very personal with all the players, He's a man's man. He's a player's coach, He's very understanding, And, I mean, I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to go out there and play for Coach Arnett.
You guys on the offensive line have a lot of experience, but a lot of you guys are moving to different spots. I know Nick's kicking inside. You're moving from guard to center. I know Steven's swapping sides. Just how have you seen those guys kind of transition, and how have you transitioned, just kind of moving positions? Do you still have that continuity that you guys had last year?
Absolutely. I think I think it can be a little different at times for guys switching positions, but on the interior, a lot of the techniques and things are pretty similar, and I think the guys that we have up front, they're doing a very well job of transitioning, and they're not, you know, they're not getting lost in the translation of things, you know, up front. So I think a lot of guys are taking that in a great way.
Coach Barbe was saying last week that, you know, it feels like Will can kind of just finish his sentence at this point with some of the play calls. You know, how much easier does that make it for you guys as offense when the quarterback and the coordinator have, you know, that type of chemistry?
When they have that, you know, when they have that confidence in the play calling and the communication between the two of them, you know, it can only give us more confidence in ourselves up front. You know, knowing what to do, knowing the alignments, the declarations of the mics, you know, where the play is going. It's really helpful for us up front having them two, you know, telling us how we need to run things and things of that nature.
Cole, you played several games at center in your first year here, 2020, and with Will, and now you're back at center after playing pretty well at guard as well. Do you feel like you've come full circle now that you're starting this season back at your natural position?
I think so, in a sense. You know, it's a great position to be in, you know, being able to play center. You know, it is a lot on your plate, a little bit more than at guard, but, you know, I think that if you can handle that transition, you can, you know, handle the fire, you come out on the other end, and, you know, it makes sense. Like you're saying, you know, it comes full circle, so very grateful to be in this position.
They say a team takes on the personality of its coach, and over the last 3 years, you know, defense has really kind of played with an edge, and it's one of the things with now Arnett over the whole unit. Do you feel like the offense maybe has a little bit more of an edge, you know, now? Nothing against anybody else, obviously, but do you feel like that maybe there's maybe more of a chip on the shoulder of this offense?
I think there definitely is more of a chip on our shoulder, you know, especially now that we're going to be a more balanced unit, you know, running the ball, switching the schemes up, having, you know, more heavy sets with tight ends and things of that nature. You know, I think we're going to be a lot more physical, a lot more downhill. And I think that brings a lot more of an attitude to the offense and the football team in general.
Cool. I know Coach Arnett has been around as defensive coordinator, but y'all had some experience, you know, a little, albeit one game in the bowl game with him being a head coach. Does that help y'all all coming in this year that y'all have gone through a game with him at the top?
Absolutely. You know, it gives us some familiarity. You know, we know what we're getting in Coach Arnett, which is a great coach and a great man, as I've said. And, you know, it all gives us confidence knowing that he's going to be leading the way. Appreciate y'all.
Obviously, Woody, you're still a running back, still a lot of the same duties, but in what ways have your responsibilities changed going from the air raid to Kevin Barbay's offense?
I say more about ball security, just protecting the ball because we're going to be running in between the tackles outside. So that's the biggest one right there.
Obviously, you know, Seth Davis has made an impression on the coaches so far in camp to, you know, be part of that 2D depth chart. What have you noticed about the way that he's progressed from, you know, when he first got here to where he is now, you know, entering week one?
He has came a long way from knowing what the defense is giving and just taking everything in and learning from other different running backs in the group and the coaches, Coach Hughes and Coach Knox, just preaching about the defense and knowing what to do. So I think he picked up and he came a long way, so that's pretty good for him.
Along those lines, Woody, you know what it's like to come into this league and have to play as a true freshman running back. You've been through that. How much of that experience have you been able to share with Seth?
We actually just go back and watch some games, and we pick out the things I did wrong, pick out the things that I did better the next couple years. So just going back and learning, teaching him everything that not to do, and know he's not going to be perfect, but trying to eliminate those before he come in and play.
You've been such a big part of the passing game the past couple of years. With your 9th catch this year, you'll be Mississippi State's all-time leading receiver as a running back, but as the all-time leading receiver. How much of the passing game are you going to be involved in this year? I don't expect you to have 80 catches, but do you think you're going to be still a guy that they look for on third down coming out of the backfield?
Yeah, I'm being involved a lot. It still be the same, but probably not more catches than I did like the previous years, but it'll be a good amount of numbers, so that's pretty good still too.
Just going back on Seth for a second, Coach Arnett was saying or praising how Seth can kind of find a feel for a hole and kind of attack it. Is that something that with running backs you feel like is natural a bit? Is there a part of it with Seth that he kind of knew before he even came to Mississippi State about having that type of feel?
Yeah, I think he had that type of feel before he came to Mississippi State. I call him a little joystick because he make moves, he quick. I think he probably the most elusive in the running back room. So he bring a different type of back to our room. So I think all of us bring different types, and we all just bond in as one in the running back room.
Woody, now you've been through a whole spring, a whole fall camp with head coach Zach Arnett, now leading into that first game. I mean, what makes you confident that he's not just, the right man for this job, but that he's going to be able to kind of excel with Mississippi State? What makes him get confidence from you?
I'll say the first practice that we ever had with him, as him being the head coach, and how he came off with the high intensity, just leading practice through all the way, playing to our last period of practice. So I think that built me up even more, that I know he's the one, and we just going to let it rip come Saturday.
Will said he thinks he already knows what the first third down call is going to be on Saturday. Are you with him on that? Do you think you know what the first third down call is going to be?
It depends on the yard. So whatever we in, like 30 inches, I probably know. 3rd and 3, I know most definitely what it is. So other than that, far back, I think we'll lead that up to Will, because I don't know what passing play he probably dial up or anything. So yeah.
Marcus, a lot of competition in the safety group this offseason with the guys leaving, and y'all got a lot of bodies back there. And what's that been like? And for you, I mean, how do you feel like you've attacked that?
It's been great, especially for the secondary. I feel like as a group, you need that competition because that makes your group hungry. We need that for the defense, and we need that for our safety group. And I feel like that's making us even a close-knit family.
Obviously, first game, I know Coach likely wants to play a lot of guys out there, but how important is it to get out there with that first team unit, kind of develop some chemistry against a real opponent?
That's the point of fall camp. I've been with it in the spring. Fall camp, you get to build that chemistry with your players, and you need that for game one.
Who are some of the guys that haven't been talked about as much? I mean, we know, the first 3 or 4 guys that are probably going to get out there, but who are some guys that have impressed you in the safety group just across the board?
We got a lot of young talent. Kobe Albert has really been having a good camp, a good spring. Isaac Smith has been real good, too. Chris Keys is developing pretty well. Jordan Moran as well. So I feel like we have depth in the secondary, even though we're pretty young.
Take us through some of these battles with you and Tulu in practice. I mean, what's it been like defending him, and maybe how have you made each other better?
Iron sharpens iron. Tulu's a great player, obviously, and he makes me better, and I'm making him better as well. So that's something that you strive off of. That's something that I love. I love competition, so you want to keep those battles going during camp and making each other better.
What just gives you confidence that the 4 guys, you, Hunter, Preston, and sorry, I don't have depth chart pulled up, but the 4 new guys stepping into the starting roles in the secondary are the right combination to be able to fill in for the guys that left last?
Well, you have to trust your teammates. You have to be, that comes with reps during practice, and you got to be able to trust the guy that you're playing next to be able to do his job. So that comes with repetition. You know, that's why we practice. That's why we watch film together.
Marcus, you got, just to be honest, a lot on your plate this year. I mean, you had to accept a position change, and not only that, step into a senior leadership role. How have you kind of balanced that while getting accustomed to a new position, but also being able to lead others at that position?
Well, obviously, it's new for y'all. It's new for a lot of people, but this is something that I've seen myself, you know, coming. So that's something that I've always been mentally prepared for, to be able to take in this role whenever it was coming. And I've always been told, you know, just be ready when your number's called. And obviously, this is my time now. So it comes pretty natural to me, you know. It's something that is somebody is who I am, you know. But like I said, it's something that I've been ready for a long time now.
Obviously, you guys are replacing a lot there at safety, but you know, how much does it help having a guy like Sean Preston, who has experience, has been in Mississippi State for a while, to kind of be the leader of that group as well?
It helps a lot. You know, you got an older guy that comes in and has a lot of snaps, and for me, especially with that position change, you know, you kind of look for, you know, what's the standard in the safety room, you know, and he's one that's been around and knows that. So it helps a lot, especially for a newcomer coming in from a new position change, and, you know, you kind of look for somebody that's doing it and that's did it, and he's one of them.
We talked to Eric Mealy the other day just about, you know, kind of the rite of passage that it is at special teams to kind of make your mark there, and a lot of times leads into other spots. Last year, you did that. I think you logged more special teams reps than just about anybody. How important did you feel like that was to get you to this point now where you're starting safety?
Special teams is extremely important. You know, that's something that, especially being a younger guy and going back to my freshman and sophomore day, that was a way of getting on the field. So special teams is extremely important, and I take pride in that, you know, and I try to tell my other teammates to take pride in that as well, because that was the path for me, you know, prove myself on special teams, and now you get your shot at defense, and you just keep on proving yourself and keep on playing hard like you did on special teams.
Marcus, what was it like getting your hand on the football in the bowl game there at the end and doing what you did? Did that just give you instant confidence, kind of what you were saying in your last answer?
Well, my number was called, and, you know, I had to make a play on the football to seal the game off. So I was just doing my job, you know. There's nothing crazy to it. Like I said before, I was playing until the clock hit 0-0-0, like Coach Leach always preached to us. So my number was called, and I made the play. Thank you.
Jed, obviously it's been you know, a different camp, I guess, than what you're used to. Now that that's behind you in game weeks here, how would you kind of assess where the defense is?
I think we're in a good spot. I don't know. I'm weird. I always think that we're not where we need to be personally, you know, because I'm just never satisfied kind of attitude. But, you know, I think we're in a good spot. We better be on our P's and Q's come Saturday and give a good showing. But I think we're in a good spot.
What's going on, Jet?
Hey.
With all the guys returning on defense and with what you've seen kind of this training camp, is this the most confident you've been in a Mississippi State, you know, defensive unit since you've been here heading into this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know, we have a lot of experienced players, and I always say you can't emulate game-like experience, and so we have a lot of that, which is a positive. But you know, nothing we did last year matters. We have to come out each and every week and prove it again. But I mean, it gives us a chance with all the experience and everything that we have, and so it's time for us to put it on film.
You know, an experienced guy on the team, what's kind of a message or something you could say to, you know, the younger guys about, you know, yes, you have this week, but you don't want to look ahead to the Power 5 games in week 2, week 3, and so forth. Well, what's kind of the message to stay focused on week 1?
Yeah, I mean, you can't take any opponent, for lightly, take them for granted. This is a Division I team with some really good players, and you got to take it a game at a time. And like I said, this is a great team, and they'll make plays and they'll punch you in the mouth if you aren't focused on them and give them all your undivided attention. And so I just and I tell those young guys, don't get tired with the monotonous. It's gonna be like the same weeks every week, every day. It's same. It's routine, and that's what it takes to be a good team. Is just not getting tired of doing the same thing all the time, and just really focusing on getting better a day at a time. So.
It's obviously tough to balance out, like Coach Arnett mentioned, being really physical and also trying to make sure everybody's fresh for the game and all that. But how physical is practice for you guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and how do y'all balance that out?
Yeah, it's very physical. I think they've done a great job of keeping us healthy, keeping us fresh, but also, making us bang around because you can't go into a game without, having that physicality. And so they have done a great job of balancing, I think. They take everything into account. They have a rep log for everybody, and so they make a lot of money for a reason, and so they've balanced it really well. I feel fresh, and I think I can speak on a lot of the other defensive guys too, as feeling prepared as well as healthy and fresh. So.
As you guys kind of wrap up the preseason now, what's it been like for you for 4 or 5 years going up against guys like Woody and Will, every fall camp? How much do you feel like that's helped you, and what's it been like competing with those guys for so long?
Yeah, it benefits not only myself but everybody around me tremendously. Those guys you mentioned, and then the O-line receivers, it helps us tremendously. It's just those are some of the top players in the league, and going against them every day is very beneficial and definitely a blessing. Perfect. Thank you all.